Welcome to the official Kung Fu Panda 4 review. Now, just a warning, this will contain spoilers, so please don't watch the full video if you haven't watched it yet. But if you really want to hear my thoughts and review on this, you may continue. So let's get right into this. So it started with Tai Lung returning, and he said that nothing will stand in his way, not even Po, the Dragon Warrior. Then we see just an ordinary day with two of Po's dads in the noodle shop, while Po went on to saving the village from a giant man ray. I'm not gonna lie, that was a really good start to a movie. Because one, Tai Lung is such an iconic character, and two, Po is kicking butt like he typically does as a Dragon Warrior. Now, he was late for a ceremony, that's why he's pretty much in a hurry, and Shifu said that Po can take the next step on his journey, and that is to find a successor to be the next Dragon Warrior. And that shocked me, because I thought he was gonna remain the Dragon Warrior. Like, I loved Po as a Dragon Warrior. He was doing so amazing that role. Like, he's kicking butt, eating them dumplings, hungry for justice, you know what I mean. So that shocked the life out of me, and Po was shocked about it, and he was not ready to take that next big step. And he said that I know two things, kicking butt and taking names. Which, to be fair, that is kind of what a Dragon Warrior does. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. And the day after, we see participants for the successor. But just as Po was about to pick the Dragon Warrior, he picked himself. Because then again, he was not ready to take that next big step. You know what I'm saying? And hey man, even I wasn't ready for him to not be the Dragon Warrior anymore. Even I wasn't ready, so I can't blame him for it. Can I seriously blame him for picking himself since he's not ready to make that change? No. But to be fair, changes sometimes need to be made, so yeah. And next we see Po meditating, but he had distractions, a lot of voices in his head right now. Then we saw a thief named Zhen trying to cause trouble, and Po walks in the Jade Palace, and he's like, "Attention, mysterious figure, the Dragon Warrior's here." So Po tries to find Zhen, and he did eventually find Zhen with the dagger of Bang Hua. Po is like, "The dagger of Bang Hua, you got good taste, I'll give you that. But I can't give it to you, give it back." And Zhen is like, "If you insist." Then basically there's this iconic Kung Fu Panda 1 movie reference to when Shifu fought Tai Lung. So super iconic. Then next we see Zhen and Po fight it out. That was until eventually, using the Kai Kung Fu Panda 3 reference, Po eventually arrests Zhen, and basically after that, everyone came to warn Po, saying that Tai Lung has returned. So Po went a long way to try to get answers from Zhen, because he thinks that Zhen literally knows anything about the whole situation. So Po asks Zhen for answers, and Zhen responds with, "It could be the chameleon, which has the ability to basically shapeshift into any master," and saying that the chameleon is the most powerful shapeshifting sorceress. So Zhen said that it could be the chameleon trying to mimic Tai Lung's gimmick. So Po is like, "How do I find the chameleon?" So Zhen made a deal to help Po find the chameleon, and basically they went on another journey. And Master Shifu was like, "What the heck?" Yeah, Shifu is super iconic, you know. Then we see a bunch of Kung Fu masters in a meeting, but that was until somehow the chameleon literally pushed them down the stairs. And another part of the movie is that they were in a restaurant, and they sat down to have some lunch. And basically, Jen was caught, and basically, that old lady said, "I'm only hungry for vengeance." And now they had a brawl in that restaurant, and basically, Po did this really cool move with the staff. Like, roll, stir. Like, here's how it goes. Roll, stir, serve, and the iconic phrase, skadoosh. Yeah, that catchphrase is definitely iconic. But throughout that whole journey, we see two of Po's dads literally overthinking what if Po gets beaten up or something like that. So they had to go on a journey themselves to find Po. Po and Jen had a little storytelling. Jen, said that he was an orphan. So, and Po told how he's not ready to take the next big step on his journey, saying he has to find a successor to be the next Dragon Warrior. So yeah, even I, like I said before, I said that in the beginning, but I wasn't really ready for that big change. When they were sleeping, while Po was sleeping, he had a vision that the chameleon was going to take over, going to conquer every city there is, from Juniper City to the Valley of Peace. Which is crazy, by the way. That is crazy. And the Juniper City is basically where everyone can be what they want, who they want to be, and steal whatever they want. Well, at least that's what Jen said. Then basically, Jen was a wanted criminal in that city. And we suddenly see two officers catching Jen, and basically Po tries to introduce himself. He tells the officers that he was the Dragon Warrior, and he even said, "Perhaps you know me as the Kung Fu Panda." And I was like, dude, let him know. Let him know. But then it doesn't really do anything, because instead of being convinced, Po gets caged up. And Jen is like, you tried it your way, now we're gonna do it my way. So they bust out of that cage and basically get chased by an army of officers. They were trapped once, but they managed to Jen managed to open the hatch and basically went down in the pipe. That's where the best crooks and criminals live there. One of those criminals was not so welcoming. Yeah, one of them is definitely not welcoming. And one of those criminals asked, "How should we do this? Quick and painless or slow and painful?" And the three bunnies said, "Slow and painful! Slow and painful!" Yeah, I feel like that's going to be an iconic line in the future, you know? So basically, they tried to get the criminals for help. That way, they could complete their mission. And by the way, those three bunnies, they're going to be iconic in the future too. Because they look cute, but they can also bite. Like, they're also aggressive. So next thing you know, we see two of Po's dads in a restaurant. They are like messing around, but they managed to flee from disaster, because that restaurant was just tipping over. And after the two dads left, wham, they went straight in the water. Well, almost. They didn't go straight in the water, it just fell off. That restaurant basically just fell off. So yeah, so next thing we see is when Po and Jen entered some sort of battlefield, I feel like. So they entered the door. Like, they opened the sewer pipe, and basically there's like a bunch of guards. Like, there's a bunch of guards, and they're trying to be stealthy and trying not to wake them up. And they try to be stealthy, but they literally end up being spotted. Like, the guards end up waking up. They got chased, and there's like this really cool sequence. I'm gonna pull it up on screen. but that was really cool. And as soon as Po landed, like as soon as Po sticks the landing, Po is like, whew, that was close. But then all of a sudden he gets trapped inside the side of a cage by the chameleon. So Po tries to get out with his bare hands, but it doesn't really work. And Jen tries to get Po out, it doesn't work either. So the plan was supposed to use the staff to get him out of the cage. But Jen totally betrayed Po because he held the staff and gave it to the chameleon. So the chameleon basically told her story of how she was rejected in every training school because she was like too small. Mainly because she's too small. Like, are you serious? You don't underestimate her. You do realize she could shapeshift to anyone, right? Don't underestimate her. But anyway, basically Po managed to get out of the cage from down under. But somehow, a bunch of guards spotted him too. Like, basically, Po had to fight off a bunch of guards down there. The chameleon then shapeshifted to Jen, pretending that she was gonna give the staff to Po. But the real Jen tries to stop, the real Jen basically walks in to save Po, like basically tried to stop the chameleon from causing trouble. But basically, here's the thing, the chameleon somehow knocked off, like, she knocked Po off of the building, and Jen felt really bad. And Po meets up with his two dads, alright, with his two fathers. And basically Po said, like, Po basically had a moment of doubt. Like, he's like, man, I screwed up so bad. Yeah, that's what he said. And his two fathers convinced that changes doesn't have to be a bad thing. That's the lesson that I learned, is that changes can sometimes be a good thing. You see the chameleon take the kung fu of every master in the spirit realm as soon as the red moon rises. So Jen felt really bad about the whole situation, so basically Jen decided to stop Po in his tracks and stop Po from getting killed. Po went inside the battlefield anyway, because he said, you're right, I probably can't beat the chameleon, but I have to try. Which I love that, because even though you don't think that you can beat the enemy, you're still willing to try to take her out. So I actually like that. I like that from Po. And Po then tells Jen to get as far away from this place as you can. We see two of Po's dads meet up with Jen. Jen said that we have to get an army of our own. We went back to the criminals, the best crooks and criminals that I talked about, and they convinced them to help Jen, since Po did need Jen's help. Then we see Po and the chameleon face to face, and basically Po walks down the stairs and said, I think you have something that belongs to me. And the chameleon's like, can't you even die right? And Po is like, about that staff. And the chameleon conveniently gives the staff back to Po, since she already has everything she needs out of the staff. Now Po tries to convince the chameleon that changes can be necessary. And the chameleon's like, I'm the chameleon, I do nothing but change. And Po is like, you only change on the outside. Real change comes from inside. But the chameleon's still not convinced. She shapeshifted into Lord Shen and basically took Po out. And that's where Po was done playing nice. Like he was done playing nice, and he's like, there's like two Shifus inside of his head, and Shifu was like, you tried it our way, now you try it your way. kick her butt. And Po is like, I'm way ahead of you. And now we see the chameleon and Po fight it out. And throughout the whole time, the chameleon shapeshifts into masters and performing moves that Po recognizes. And he got whooped real bad. But then Jen walks in to try to help Po. And basically, it was 2-on-1 now. So the chameleon's like, 2 against 1? Well, that doesn't seem fair. I have to even the odds. So he transforms into this huge monster with parts of different masters all combined. And Po was like, dude, that is awesome. I mean, it's disturbing, but it's awesome. And yeah, he's right about that. I mean, hey man, he's not wrong about that. So basically, the chameleon chases down Po and Jen. And after they crash landed, Po at first thought that Po was fainted down. Like he's basically the one in front of him. He thought that was Po. But it was the chameleon who somehow shape-shifted into Po. And she's like, I thought we were friends. And the real Po was like, stand back. I'm gonna kick my butt. Yeah, that line's that's gonna be another iconic line in the future. Cause that is such a good line. I love it. So we see the two Poes fight it out. And Po was getting whipped yet again. He got trapped in a cage again. So he had no choice but to hand over his staff to Jen to finish the job. And Jen does this another move again, like the one Po did with the staff. Yeah, I'll show you that again. Roll, stir, serve, and skadoosh. But instead of saying skadoosh, Jen said skablam. You know what, that's definitely another iconic phrase in the future, but I prefer skadoosh, you know? So yeah, the chameleon's defeated, and we see Po break out of the cage. And basically, Jen was like, dude, you could have gotten out of the cage anytime you wanted, you faker. And Po is like, it's not faking, it's called method. Like, it's pretty much like the Po versus Jen fight in the Jade Palace. Because there's like this one moment in that fight where Jen fakes out his death. And Po is like, you faker. And Jen is like, it's not faking, it's called method. Catch you later, Panda. So yeah, it's basically like that. And basically, Jen tried to sneak attack Po and Jen, but Po saw it coming, whacks the chameleon with his staff, and ends up with the amazing, the iconic phrase, skadoosh. Yeah, that phrase has always been iconic in the Kung Fu Panda series. I love that line. And we see all the Kung Fu masters from the spirit realm pay their respects to Po. Even Tai Lung pays his respects. Because before, Tai Lung wasn't really impressed with the Dragon Warrior. He's like, ooh, wait, like, still mad at the fact that Po beat him. But now, after he took out the chameleon, Tai Lung was like, maybe Oogway was right about choosing you. And, hey man, he's not wrong about that. So, yeah. And at the ending, we see Po and Jen near the Jade Palace. Po picks Jen to be the next Dragon Warrior. And Master Shifu was like, what? You know what, that kind of reminds me of when Po was chosen as a Dragon Warrior. Like, remember in the first movie where Master Oogway chooses Po to be the Dragon Warrior? Master Shifu was like, what the heck? So yeah. And we see the Furious 5 return to train Jen some Kung Fu. And that's basically the whole review of Kung Fu Panda 4. So you guys are asking, what are my thoughts? Well, I really love the movie. Lots of people are saying it's mid, but for me, it was really cool. Probably, in my opinion, the best Kung Fu Panda movie. In my opinion, at least. But let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later in the next video.